It's cold. It's cold. I have got my little foot heater pumping as I record this, and I know it makes background noise, but you know what? It's cold, and so I've got my nice big dog lying by the door. I've got the foot heater pumping, and we're just going to deal with any extra sounds. Sound okay? All right. So I want you, I know today's episode is about rejection, but it's actually a really, really, really positive show. And I'm going to tell you about some pretty serious and horrible rejections that I've had in the last couple of years. Yes, out with it. Cat's out of the bag. I'm going to share those with you. But I'm sharing them with you so you know how I operate, how I do things. And the fact that rejection is part of this territory of living. And if I'm not getting enough rejections, means I'm playing it way, 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 way too safe, as that old saying goes. So without further ado, we're jumping into Flowdreaming, Still Kinda Woo-Woo. Still Kinda Woo-Woo is just what it sounds like. An escape into the world of woo. Also, a ride into you. And how to feel happier, wiser, and more self-aware in every way. It's your ultimate journey into personal growth and inner power. We'll explore ideas like how your energy self influences the kinds of opportunities you encounter, or how your personal growth can drive your business growth, or even how that feeling of being stuck is really always coming from something else. We just have to figure out what. That's right, we're a dash of woo-woo, a sprinkle of self-care, a heap of problem-solving and pattern-busting, and a giant cup of encouragement. We're going to relight so much passion, purpose, self-love, and confidence in you that you practically stagger. I'm Summer McStravick, your host, and welcome to Still Kinda Woo-Woo. Oh my goodness. So I tussled with myself quite a bit before doing this episode. I thought, well, I'll tell you. First of all, I researched radical honesty, and I even was able to interview Brad Blanton, the so-called father of the radical honesty movement. So what it comes down to is that it's this idea that you just spill the beans, you spill them all, you spill the tea, you spill it all, and it makes you feel better. There is no subterfuge, no lack of transparency. I know from all the work that I do looking in people, when I look in people, by the way, that means, yes, intuitively looking in people. When I look in people, people think that everything is hidden. They're afraid of what I'll see, afraid I'll name something, say something, judge something. I don't. When you've seen inside thousands of people, everything starts to look a little bit the same sometimes in a kind of good way. Like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. And the desire to draw a conclusion that it's wrong or bad, well, let's just say I've had a lot of tests on that. But I'm straying. I want to get back to why talking about rejection and my noodling around with it. Oh, you hear that? That's my dog. He's scratching himself. I told you today was going to be a very casual show. We're all cold and we're all hanging out in my home office together. Me, the dog, one of the cats, the heater. All right, so I was a little concerned. I thought, okay, I'm going to share all of these rejections. What will you guys think? And then I thought, well, probably should be over that by now. And so here is me pushing forward and trying to share with you the gold that I have personally found in a lot of crushing feelings of being overlooked, said no to, generally discounted. You know, all the things that all of us, talking the fanciest movie stars that don't get that part, all of us feel just in our own little realms, our own little kingdoms and queendoms and themdoms. So here we have benched, rejection, empowerment, and growth. And in keeping with the new format, yes, it's Flowdreaming, but it's also the new, still kind of woo-woo. We'll be kind of diving and dipping and, like little birds in the lagoon, dipping into the water, taking out those little fishies of insights as we go along. But I'm going to start with a story from last year. Oh, maybe it was the year before. Not quite sure, actually. Anyway, end of the pandemic. And I'm thinking, gosh, I haven't gone out and spoken in a long time, haven't taught a workshop, haven't seen anybody in person. And I know we all have different thoughts on vaccines and so forth, but being that I'm a little bit on the immunocompromised side of things, still on anti-cancer medication, I've been playing it pretty darn safe. And I realize it's time to get back out there. It's been a while. So I reached out, right? I reached out to a bunch of the places where previously I'd, gone, spoken, hosted, and a lot of them had switched gears. I'm telling you guys, a lot of places that you've probably been to, they're not having the experts in anymore. They've got their own in-house staff. If you go for yoga, meditation, healthful eating, it's people that they've employed there to pretty much do it full time and create that for you. And that was kind of interesting. I was like, oh, well, okay, I can see how that shifted. So that's going to be a no. It's going to be a no. But I found a place. Well, I found a lot of places, but I found a place that it turns out was about 15 miles from me. I had no idea. One of the most world-class resorts, health, wellness spas, right here in my town. Not one that I'd ever seen or known about before. So I called him up, emailed, hey, do you ever have experts come and talk? I'd love to just kind of feel my way out there, talk to some people, just kind of, baby step it, put my toe in the water, get back out. And the gal said, yeah, come on out. Great, come on out. So I arrive and I think we're going to have like a little conversation. And she says, so I've invited several of my my employee peers, the head of the yoga department, and here is our wellness, instructor. And I'd like you to do a whole presentation as if you were doing a talk for our community. I said, oh, okay. It's interesting. Okay. That's different. I haven't been job interviewed in a long time, especially on teaching. It was an awkward moment. I was like, well, none of these young ladies have heard of me or my teachings or anything, but what the hell? Okay, fine. So I proceeded to spend 45 minutes with them, basically bringing them through a Flowdreaming workshop. At the end, they thought it was lovely, wonderful. Oh, we love it. Went back to the office with the gal who was in charge, and I was like, yeah, can I come out and just do a lecture for your community? I'm not even asking for much. I just want to get out, and I'm so sick of being in the house. And you're like right in my backyard, and maybe something really good could come from this. And she said, well, yeah, we'd love to have you. And by the way, if our patrons want to do a session with you, are you willing to do those? And I said, sure. I mean, as long as I'm here for, whatever time I've got, yes. And she said, wonderful. We pay $75 per session. And, we're the most exclusive resort here. Our patrons pay $10,000 a week just to be here. So you'd be working with very quality people. And I said, oh my God, I'm thinking in my head, I don't know when I was last paid $75 for a session. And not only that, but you charge $10,000 a week for your patrons to be here, and you're only giving your staff $75 per session? My head is just like click, 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 click. So I was very honest. And I said, look, I usually start about $400 to $500 per session. Do you want me to talk to your people, to your community, or not? And she said, oh, well, I need to take it up with my boss. And I left. And I never heard a word again. I just felt like, damn, that was like a near miss. You know what I mean? Like we would have been a very good fit, like right here in my backyard. I could have just kind of revved up my steam, started talking with people in person again, getting comfortable being in public. Her people would have gotten something, I feel, magical, special, different, certainly, than they usually experience. Because I talk about flow dreaming and it's its own special kind of thing, right? So I feel pretty solid. I feel pretty good. I know it's going to change people. I was like, win, win, win. But I had the experience of basically being rejected from a job without even a callback. Okay. That's not the only thing. Not by far. Not by far. I'm sharing these. I kind of want you to laugh with me. And it's weird because I feel like, well, you sound self-important, Summer. Like, well, of course, I don't want you. But it was like, here's what I thought. This person can't even expand her thinking to realize maybe she's with an expert, somebody who really knows something, who's kind of offering to come in just for fun. Like, she couldn't bend around that idea. So it was a no. I mean, I could have just said, no, I just won't do any sessions, but I still want to come out and talk. It's kind of cool. And I like your spa. And maybe someday I will actually come stay here because, you're here. And I never knew that. But it just slapped me with, okay, so someone whose perception is not as open or awareness doesn't think like that is the one to say no. It's like if you're 60, you guys have all had this happen. You're 50, you're 60, you're 40, and you go to a job interview with an 18-year-old and they're like, ooh, I don't know. You kind of feel like, well, what? Okay. Yeah, it felt like that. Okay. Next. I am sending out emails, you guys. I told you that I want to get some really interesting people to be on my podcast here, to talk with you, talk with me, talk with you. I don't want them just to be plugging their books and stuff like that. I want real conversations about interesting topics. Open up ideas with me. Let's talk about where we're going and who we are. So I've sent out a volley of emails, just lots and lots and lots of them. And most people do want to be interviewed, but apparently not the people I've been emailing. Crickets, man. And you guys, this is really humbling. It's humbling. It's like saying, I want to talk to you. And they're saying, we don't want to talk to you. Oh, you don't? Okay. And this is why we're doing the theme today of rejection. Putting yourself in that position of being potentially rejected. And why I'm sharing with you my rejections. Oh, there's my puppy dog. He's just shaking in the background. So I'm telling you again, this is why I had to look up radical honesty, because it's very vulnerable. Nobody's gotten back to me. So what do I do? I've done the same thing with book blurbs. Hold on, my dog's opening the door. Can you hear that? He's going to ring the doorbell and he's going to open the door. Give him a second. There you go. He's a smart boy. He just opened that door himself, let himself out. All right. So here we go. I also have just released my book, Stuff Nobody Taught You. It's on Amazon, by the way, if you want to look it up. But yeah, one of the things your publisher wants you to do is go out there and get people to say nice things about your book ahead of time. It's like a little popularity contest. And you basically reach out to the people who are at your, quote, same level, quote, quote, because they figure you'll do the same for them. It's just like it's so transactional. And I thought, okay, all right, I'm going to go through this. Fine. You ask your friends will all say yes. But, your publisher says, well, I want you to have like blah, 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 the person from blah, 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 blah. So I've reached out, and again, Crickets. I'll tell you, my ego is like, poof, and that's an exploding sound. It's saying, I don't understand what's going on, Summer. What's happened? Y'all finished? Y'all washed up? And another part of me is saying, oh, this is weird. It's saying, I don't like participating in these things in the first place, right? I don't like hitting people up to say nice things about a book that they haven't even read because, it's a thing to just write a couple sentences about how brilliant they are so that you can give one to them in another year or two. And it's all about who's bigger than whom and whose audience. I'm like, so I'm participating in something I'm not even 100% down with. Okay, energetically, that does make sense. But what about the podcast? What about this other stuff? What's going on with all this crazy rejection? And again, do you know what comes back? It's that same feeling. How many downloads do you have? What's your audience size? Have I heard of you? These are the questions that a lot of people are asking. And not even people who are just like those people. You know who those people are. Just regular people. Do I have time for you? It's a question everybody's asking. Do I have time for this? Do I have time for this? This is rejection. And I know I'm trying to give you some reasons. Definitely, you can hear me trying to rationalize it. But what it falls down to is that rejections just come sure as rain. And you can say whatever you want about them. You can say, well, they just didn't see how great I am. Or you can say, well, they're all just too busy for me. Or you can say, I'm not good enough for them. Or you can say, I reached too far. Or you can say, they just didn't like what I offered because it's really not that great. Like all of these things, though, are lack thoughts. Lack thoughts. You guys have heard me talk about lack thoughts before, right? Those are those rationales, those justifications. Like, I didn't get it because X, Y, Z. Crap number one, crap rationale number two, crap rationale number three. Oh, God has my flow, my life, my universe given me a ton of rejections to play with this last year or two. Now, here's the thing. I set myself up for these. I could very easily reach out to places that I know are comfortable with me, have had me, just something that's more a cozier situation where I don't risk as much. I could, but I didn't. And I don't. I don't generally. After I get cozy in some sphere, I like to see what else is out there. I like to look past the headlights. What's going on out there? There, I point. That's where all the rejection lies, in the dark part of the land beyond all the headlights. The dark mountains. And I go, what's there? I know something's there. I want to see what's there. I want to see what's there. Here's where I'm getting to with you. Because I know I'm talking about me. I'm trying to share from my life experience because it's real and kind of raw. I could share from clients, but I try to keep usually their stuff, to themselves, to us, to between us. So I usually pick to share about me. But for you, I want you to ask the rejections that you've had lately. Is it because you've been playing in your cozy space? Or did you also look out in the dark area past the headlights where the dark mountains are? Did you say, I want to know what's there? I'm going to try. And when I look in hindsight, 75% of the time, 85, even more, I'm actually going into that zone, which means that my quota of rejection is pretty darn high. It's pretty high. But I didn't get where I need to be in life by not going there. I've gone there constantly, all the time, year after year after year. And you can say, okay, well, people go there for ego. I told you my little ego is a bruised, featherless little thing right now, just hiding in the corner. But the other part of me, the bigger part of me, I'm hoping, says, you have a job to do. You have a word to spread. You're really good at some things. You can pull the insides out of people and show them who they really are, what they're really deserving of, what they want. Get them to own it, get them to be it, feel it, become it. You can see these things, you can say these things in such a way where people's hearts open instead of closing and retracting, but they open and embrace. That is life-changing. If you're not doing that, what a waste. What a frickin' waste. So you've got to do whatever it takes so you can do more of that. And that means sitting in a little room doing a full Flowdreaming workshop for 3 20-year-olds. Sorry, I'm being ageist, but 3 20-year-olds who don't know you from a hole in the wall, who later reject you. You got to do that. You've got to prick that little ego. You've got to deflate that balloon. And then you've got to do it again and again and again. Here's the only way you can sustain that level of exploration, because that's really what it is. It's exploration. It's by knowing that what you are, who you are, what you offer is incredibly valuable. It's valuable. Don't compare yourself. Every time I compare myself to someone else, it never turns out well. You know why? Do we ever compare ourselves to people that we feel are beneath us? Not really. We compare ourselves to the big people, the big wigs, people that we've admired, that we've looked up to, that have inspired us in our lives, people who often have generated something incredible. And we say, yes, that's what I want. But doing that always, always, always positions you as not there yet, not enough, not deserving. Yet the bigwig you're looking at, they were there once too. They were sitting there with exactly 2 followers on their channel. They were sitting there struggling to get their book published and being rejected 15 times. They were struggling there, absolutely flopping on the stage as they spoke. They worked their butts off trying to get legitimacy as a consultant, and nobody was calling. They did that. You're doing that. You're just doing the same thing. You're doing the exact same thing at the phase of their life where they also did that. And yeah, it's not the same for everybody. Some people catch fire and go for it fast. Some people are slow burns. Like, we take a while. We just keep lighting that lighter. So when I encounter rejection, when you encounter rejection, I want you to say to yourself, interesting. Weird. Okay. Clearly not my path. Odd. You could even say, they don't know what they're missing, if you're feeling it. But the idea is to say, okay, well, what do I want to do now? What's next? What's next? What's next? And there's always a next. That's the fabulous thing. I could book 4 retreats this year, fill them all, and yet not have been invited to speak for free at the spa. What could you do? What aren't you doing? What do you want to do? What has rejection crushed you from trying to do? So I gave you some examples of my professional rejections in this last year. Pretty pretty sucky ones. No one wants to come on my show, even though it's a really wonderful show. And by no one, I mean only those people who think they're sniff, sniff, big people, you know. No one wants to write blurbs about my book coming out. Again, why? Well, there's a lot of reasons, frankly. Mostly it's an insider's club, and I just don't play that game. And I know it. And I should just be okay with that. And, of course, my attempt to just get out and talk at a few local places and feeling like, gosh, nobody sees you in your own hometown. All of these could definitely make me feel pretty shitty about myself. Wonder if I'm really as good as I think I am. Wonder if I should keep doing this. Wonder if I should just throw in the towel, just retire, enjoy myself and my lovely dog, who, by the way, wants in right now. But I'm not going to do that. Rejection instead is telling me, what are you going to do next? What are you going to try next? You see how rejection kind of goads me? It does. I use that. Every emotion has a purpose that's good. If you remember all of my Flowdreaming episodes from 683 backward, every emotion has a purpose. The emotion of, I've been rejected, I'm kind of feeling sad and pissy about it. You know what I do with that feeling? Instead of just letting it wallow and sit in me and make me second guess myself. Instead, I say, well, screw the blurbs. Fuck that. You know what? I will keep reaching out to people that I want to talk to. And if they want to talk to me and they respond to me, they're the right people. If they don't, probably not going to be a good interview anyway. And I do want to go talk some places. So I'm just going to keep sending out little emails saying, hey, how about this? Can I do something? How about a retreat? And maybe they'll come my way. And it'll happen when it happens. In the meantime, oh, I've got so much to fill my plate. What's filling your plate? Right? I'm writing another book. I'm doing a whole bunch of one-on-ones with people right now. By the way, I'll do that. It's happening right now. If you're listening, I only do it about once a year. Just kind of throw open the doors and do sessions with everybody. Just reach out. There's a lot that I'm doing. And a lot that is beautifully received. There's a lot of lives that I work to change. I always joke with my clients. I get to live vicariously through you. When I see you win, I'm winning. It's like I get to live times 10, times 12, times 15. I love it. So I'm keeping my eyes firmly on those areas where I know I'm progressing, things are working, things are beautiful, things are expanding. But I'm also going to still keep myself probing the land of rejection. I know, I sound like a masochist. Believe me, the head chatter right now, a conceited masochist, Summer. You can't be strong in what you are if you're not willing to say what you're strong in, even how it may sound. And yes, I can sound judgy. I'm just like you. I'm not beyond that. But I will keep probing rejection, because rejection is where I haven't yet set foot. And I'm not done living. I'm not done experiencing. So I'm going to keep pursuing rejection. Not manifesting rejection, but pursuing it, placing myself in the sphere where it's very, very possible. And I'll tell you one thing. Rejection happens a lot, 9 times out of 10. But that one time it doesn't. That's the make or break. It's a make or break. You know, all those people up in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, They may do 10 pitches. Rejection, rejection, rejection. But that one investor says, I see it. Shark Tank. Everybody says no. That one says yes. But you had to go through 4 rejections to get that, right? See where I'm going here? Rack them up. Please, let's rack them up. Even though I feel egotistically bruised and snarky and depressed and, about it, please, I need to rack them up. Because there's that one beautiful yes. That's the yes I'm looking for. That's the yes where beautiful things happen. And not only that, it's not just like a transactional thing. That's where I realized I've expanded it. I've gone into some new place. And that's what living is. That's what living is. Going into those new places in your heart constantly. And these can be quiet new places. It can be the first time you lay eyes on your first grandchild. Quiet places. They can be big places. It's that person who reaches out from that company that never thought would hire you and they say, come interview. And you're like, what? Risk it. Risk it. All those rejections are not going to kill you. They're not going to hurt you. They might make you feel a little egotistically miffed. But they're there for a good darn reason. You got it? Okay. It's time. I always move, make a little shift in the new format here, our fabulous new format. And guess what time it is? It is time for a complete change of mood and tempo because I promised you, right? It's a personal update. Little life update. Part of the reboot for me is being a little more chatty and conversational with you. So many years, 18 years, I focused on teaching you. And yes, I admit the last segment got a little bit preachy. But one thing I think you know about me is that over the years I've become a little more human. Yes, I think I have been. I don't know, I'm trying. And part of that humanness is to share with you kind of what's going on in my life. Now, if you listen to my mom's show, Dear Venus, oh my God, she tells everything about everybody. And it's all just a train wreck all the time. I try not to live in such a train wreck way, so it may not be as fabulously fascinating and gripping. But I still have plenty of my own crazy going on. So one of the things that's been going on is that all through the end of last year and the beginning of this year, my mom has been having incredibly difficult back pain, and it was so funny. I keep telling her, go see this one doctor. She refuses because she's very stubborn, and she just wants to go see her people, her quasi-doctors. Oh, listen to me. God, you're hearing all the judge come out. Look at that. But I'm like, Mom, is it another quack? Please tell me it's not. Because you know why? Because she goes and she just wastes an inordinate amount of times. She's like, well, this guy said he had a 50% chance of making me better. I'm like, 50% for, wait, how much? 10,000? What? 5,000? Ugh. And then I remind myself, oh, I definitely can't control my mom. Can any of us? So we both went through back pain. I ended up twisting my back in a crazy, weird, bad way. And I thought to myself, what goes around comes around, boy. You just give your mom a hard time and look what you get. And it made me think about that whole tit for tat thinking that we fall into so often. You do this, you get that. Eye for an eye, right? Karma. I still have issues with karma. Tit for tat. Yeah, I'm all for the universe rebalancing its scales. But sometimes I think it's because we ourselves are ready to participate in a seeing through other people's eyes. You ever have that happen? Criticize someone else and then you get it? Interesting. Well, I'm better now. And I have had a beautiful month so far. And in fact, I feel like this year is different. The last couple have been pretty harsh in most of the countries of the world. But I feel like this year is different. I feel like this year I can hear a little song on the wind. I don't know what it is, but I hear it. Hear it everywhere. And I'm curious what that means, where it'll go, what'll happen. And here's how I'm translating it into my life. So we haven't talked about Flowdreaming in quite a few episodes. But I do sit down in my flow. I go into that space where I let go and I release. I do this practice. Be curious what Flowdreaming is? Go to my website, flowdreaming.com. You can download a whole free kit. You can download it. There's an app for it, actually. In fact, I'm having that app redone right now. Very exciting. I'll announce that soon. But it teaches you how. It's a potent method for manifesting. It's changed my whole life. It's responsible, obviously, for my business, my life, my lifestyle. Hundreds of thousands of people, almost 180,000 people, I calculated, have been practicing Flowdreaming. So I move into my flow space again and again and again. And when I hear and sense this, I know that sometimes the world, the universe doesn't reveal everything in black and white to you. It's not like, here it is, and it just shoves the whole meal in front of you. Sometimes it's like you just smell good things in the kitchen and you're like, when's my order coming? What did I order? When is it coming out? God, I've been here forever. But your order always comes out. And I want to be ready for that order. Whatever that is, whatever that means. I want to be wide open, curious, questing, wondering, ready. And I'm very committed to that feeling right now in my life because the last couple years I have been enclosed, retracted, inside. I'll tell you about that in a couple more episodes. Got one ahead for you called Slow Time. It was a good time for me. But now it's shifting. And that moment of not knowing where you're going, it's kind of an awesome moment. It is if you stop and think about it and not worry about it, but just be in it. So that's where I'm at. That was kind of hazy, I know. Kind of all over the place, but sometimes that's how I feel. But that's what's going on with me personally right now. All right, my darlings, this wraps up our episode on rejection. I just want you to know, rejection is not something to avoid. I know this is weird. It is something to seek. But only seek it from people, places, things that you feel you are deserving and you are worthy and you are ready and you are hungry to go into. Hungry. Gosh, that just made me think of like J.K. Rowling's, right? Remember? And all of her hundreds of rejections for Harry Potter. And I know we listen to that and we kind of blow it off like, yeah, well, that's J.K. Rowling's. But that's just not J.K. Rowling's. That's everybody. That's all of us. She just is the one that we know about because she's got a big name. And the rejection was so profound. But if you have the heart for something, move into it. Go forward. Let them reject you. Let them not see you. Let them not even fathom you. That's going to happen. You're the one who decides where you go. You're the one who decides who your audience is. You're the one who decides who your friends are, who you love. You're the one. You're the one who decides. Even if it feels like, well, they said, I didn't decide. They rejected me. So what? Those people did. What about them, 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 them? It is a short, lack-fueled thought process if you say there's only this, this, and this. Oh no. Did we forget one of the tenets of Flowdreaming? The universe is abundant. You're abundant. You're unending. You're never ceasing. You are on and on and on and on. Any false, fake walls are just that. They're temporary. They're rice paper. Bust through it. So I plan on getting a heck of a lot more rejected this year. I hope you will too. Maybe I'll even, put on my big girl pants and share some more rejections with you throughout the year. But I want you to know I'm doing it. And sometimes it's even more embarrassing when the rejections are kind of puny and stupid. Sometimes when the rejections are huge, it's kind of more understandable. Like, well, yeah, Netflix turned down my show, but okay, fine. We all get that. But own them all. Own them all. Level them out. Just level that field right out. They're all just someone saying, no, I don't get it. I don't get you. Not right. Not now, not here, not a fit. Big effing deal. I mean, no big effing deal. Still playing around with how much I can curse on my newly rebranded show. Can you hear me? I'm like, oh, it's right there on the tip of my tongue. By the way, I did mention Stuff Nobody Taught You, my new book coming out. It is loaded with graphic language. Just a warning. You can go check it out. Find it on Amazon right now. I don't think they've put any excerpts up of the book yet, but we'll see. I'm very excited to see how you take it in. Honestly, it's all the best stuff I've learned in the last 20 years. All the best stuff. So, okay, darlings, I will let you go. Much love to you all. Thank you for letting me work my way into this new series. I'm sure you can hear it every day. It's getting a little different. Every day, going new places. God, I can't wait to see where we end up at the end of the year. All right. Love to you all. Stay well. Be well. I'll see you next time for Flowdreaming. Still kinda woo-woo. Me School is happening, and it only happens once a year. This year, we're starting in September, and it is a wild and wonderful ride. In fact, last year, more than half of the students were taking it for their second or third time, which is crazy. What it tells you is that, one, Me School is epic for learning how to awaken or accelerate your intuition, learning to manifest at a richer, deeper level, and for creating those long-standing desires, making those things in your life finally real. And two, Me School works. It just works. So head on over to flowdreaming.com/meschool. We are registering you right now. I really hope to see you as part of our Me School class and one of the next people on this planet to graduate into their next level self. Again, just head on over to flowdreaming.com/meschool and learn all about it.